It's 8 a.m. February 17th. Yep. And this is what I've gotten done so far. I'm making a pizza. It has tomato sauce, oregano, basil, and I minced up shiitake mushrooms with garlic. So that's about 1 head of shiitake or garlic with I'm gonna go 2 cups worth of shiitake mushrooms, maybe a little more, and that's along the sauce. And then on top of that, let's see, what did I put on? Oh, leeks. I put leeks on top of it. So I minced up some leeks and I put that on there. And some little, oh, here's some closer to see, zucchini and asparagus, little tiny asparagus. I've used a bunch of it, but it's really small. So that small, tiny little asparagus. And then I put peppers. I put yellow and red bell pepper and a couple of those small sweet organic peppers that are a little bit bigger than jalapenos. And I put spinach on top of that, and this time I used fresh spinach. I actually don't like using fresh spinach for my pizza. I prefer using the frozen and squeezing it out and then putting it on. But whatever, I have this, and so this is what I'm using today. And then this is grated Hubbard squash on here, so then I'll bake that. And I also chopped up enough stuff for later. So this container is quite large. It's full of leeks, almost 2 whole leeks. And then this one's sliced up Brussels sprouts. This one's the rest of the shiitake garlic. So this is 1 head of garlic in here and that much shiitake mushroom, whatever. And this is some more grated Hubbard squash. And in this container I have sliced up bell peppers, and then sliced up red onions and minced up ginger. So I also minced up some fresh turmeric root, and I put a couple, well, you can't even see in the dark there, but there's another cup like this. And I put that, like, it didn't all fit in this container, so we're having 2 glasses with honey. So I will heat up some water and make us some tea, and then strain out the turmeric root after a few minutes. This container is the broth from the shiitake mushroom, so I'll use that to make some soup. Now later on today I'm going to use a few of these ingredients anyway to make some wontons. And I'll make them healthy by brushing a little bit of oil on them, coconut oil, and then putting them in the oven. So I'll be baking wontons, which this is going to be the base of the filling with, I'm going to make it with sauerkraut, because I have a lot of sauerkraut, and I think it might taste good. And well, I'll be using this whole container of ginger. I eat a lot of ginger and a lot of garlic. And this rest of the scraps, the stems from the asparagus that are too tough to eat, stuff like that, I'm going to juice. So none of this stuff is going to waste. And I've made, by trying to keep track of the order of how I'm chopping things up so that one flavor doesn't make another flavor from different vegetables or fruit or whatever repulsive. I was able to use the food processor just once without washing it. So I've gotten all of this stuff prepared just using the food processor once. No rinse, no wash, just, I mean, I just had to pay attention so that I wouldn't use like strong flavors first, right? Shiitake with garlic. I don't necessarily want every meal that I make with, say, this stuff to taste like shiitake and garlic or ginger. So, or turmeric actually. Like I use this, I minced up this stuff before the ginger and before this. So anyway, also today, somebody asked me yesterday what I do with teff and quinoa. They gave me a bunch, and they didn't know what to do with it, and I was like, oh, it's awesome. You know, I'd been trying to tell people how awesome it was, and anyway, so this is teff. I'm sprouting it. If you can see in there, there's a couple little coffee filters that it's on, and I'll just set that over there out of the way, and this is quinoa, and again, it's on coffee filters. So what I did was I have a strainer that is this size, and it's about the perfect size for a coffee filter. So I take the coffee filter. You don't have to rinse teff or quinoa before you use it. So you put the coffee filter in there, you rinse it down, and then you put the quinoa and the teff, you know, how inside the coffee filter, right? And then you put it inside the container once it's moist, and you don't have to worry about it. You just check it every morning or something, see if it's sprouted, and when it's sprouted, you use it. And you can let it go a little bit longer, but you anyway, so that's how you do it. You sprout it. If you follow the instructions given on the tag from the store about how to cook teff, you will never ever use teff again. I did that. I followed the instructions from the store, but I am rather stubborn. So I'm not like other people. I find a use for something. When I'm determined, it just makes me more determined to try to find a use for it when I run up against an obstacle like that. But yeah, I wouldn't cook teff in a pot. It's not only was it disgusting to eat that way, but what a mess. It was bubbling up all over the place, and it was such a nightmare. I can't imagine anyone in the world besides me would ever bother to buy teff again after having that experience. So don't cook it the way the tag suggests. Don't do that. Just sprout it and then make dokra cakes out of it. I have lots of recipes that I've provided on my blog site for dokra cakes, and really you can, once you make a few, you'll get the hang of it, and you'll make all sorts of changes and do whatever. Yeah, it's easy.